the single era or not being with someone creates space for something else is really what I'm hearing, is like the invitation is for something else to arise and to be the focus of this time in life right now, and that's a beautiful thing, or it can be, and it can
Definitely.
help you step into that person that's going to attract and align with your ideal partner.
Yeah, I think I'm even hearing you, Sam, really talk about a lot of things that I work with people on. I would call it radically accepting, like where I am today and how things are today. And they may not be how I want them to be, but that first step of actually being able to accept it as a part of life, right? And I'm not saying this is easy. This is about the most difficult thing. It's easy to radically accept, joy and happiness, but when we're having to radically accept a first holiday season without someone we love, or a breakup, or having to share our kids with an ex, those kinds of things, those are not easy things to radically accept. And yet they're so powerful when we do, because we that is literally the gateway of walking into and what else is here for me to discover about myself, about the world, about just the infinite possibilities. And sometimes that sounds really, hokey or, too woo woo for people. And sometimes they're just not there yet. That there is a lot of grief that happens through the process of being in radical acceptance. And so I just wanted to speak to you. I feel like you were saying those things. And for listeners, we don't want to really make that sound easy. Okay.
Mm-mm.
But it is possible.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I wish you could be on my podcast all the time because it's like you with all of your decades of wisdom and your doctorate and everything who you are. I'm like, oh, please, now you translate it, Patty, for people because you did do that for me. I remember vividly after my dad passed, and I just was rejecting it all. I just was in a pure state of partially, I guess, denial, but like rejection of this part of my life. And that's a lot of times what I see single women doing with their singleness. It's single is such a silly word. It's like, you're not alone. Like, please don't fool yourself that you're alone. Like, you are infinitely connected and you have community, hopefully, or you're building one. So anyways, but I was in such a state of rejection, and you really taught me, like, if you are rejecting this part of your story, you're also just like rejecting life, because I didn't want to look at that part of my story because I felt so much like guilt and sadness and regret and hopelessness. And you said to me in one of our sessions, Patty was my coach for a very long time and still is one of my greatest mentors, PS. You said, but it is your story. And I remember just sitting there and being like, sorry if you have to edit that out. Like, it is. And it is. Like, what am I going to do with it? And it took me, and it still is taking me, a really long time. And it is not easy. And like you said, it is possible. And I think, like, what happens, what I see at least a lot in my work now, is that the reasoning that a lot of people give to why they're single right now or not with their partner is it's like a punishment. And I think that's a byproduct of like new age manifestation language, that like if you're in flow, if you're doing everything right, if you're in your practice, if you're doing whatever it is, your somatic work, your nervous system work, or your inner parent, inner child, whatever, then like things should be joyful and flowy and easy. And like you'll have the book deal and you'll have the partner, and like it'll all just happen if you're doing whatever modality probably that person is selling. I'm not against it. I sell courses, programs, all the things. And please don't invest in anything because you think there's something wrong with you. and that somebody is going to have the answer. Like, the reason why you're single is not because there's something wrong with you. There's not because you're being punished. And at least in my work and a lot of the movies and different things that I see, it's like, oh, you have more work to do or else you would be with your partner. Like, you still have all of these issues. It's like, yes, do we have underlying beliefs that we could work on? For sure. And if you're looking at this part of your life as a punishment instead of as an invitation, those are two wildly different experiences. And if you keep looking at it as a punishment, the likelihood of you attracting this incredible man or woman into your life, it's not impossible, but you could see how that could be more challenging.
I mean, that's pretty much a constant message in my sessions around someone struggling with loneliness, lack of connection, and desire for, intimate relationship is, and I truly do believe it, that the person is already here. They're there. And it is a matter of, it isn't even about how much work or how hard you work. So, I mean, sometimes it's quite magical. Okay. You know that, right? Yeah. And sometimes there's some work, and not to say that there's work because there's something wrong. I love that, Sam. It's more about clearing kind of the space, clearing in many ways. I feel like my own life has been a sort of, shedding of what's not me, what was sort of put on me as not mine and not my story and not who I am, and a sort of shedding of that to be myself. As wild and crazy as I am, um, I am much happier and much more useful in the world when I am me, truly me, and not trying to be someone else or look like someone else or any of that. And I think that I don't even want to call that work. It's just part of a process, right? And it
Yeah,
can
it's
be
discovery.
fun. I think actually, Sam, you make that a lot of fun. Okay. I try to make therapy and coaching fun. I really do. I mean, if you're in any of my classes, I am super fun and silly and deep and authentic, but you make that process a lot of fun. And I think it should be. It's not like some grueling, terrible work. It's beautiful work.
Yeah.